Hi, this is JilMac, and I am going to be showing you Centora. And in Centora, we're going to be going over the database management features. So in Assignment 6, we have where we are starting to use Larry Ullman's book to learn about SQL and how it interacts with PHP. This is the book that we're using for chapters 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So when we're in here, in this book, we downloaded a file called SQL.SQL. And in that, it gives us the information for what we do with our SQL and how we interact with PHPmyAdmin. So once you've created your database, so we've created our database, and now we go into PHPmyAdmin. And in PHPmyAdmin, we launch it. Now it wants our login and our password. So remember your database login and password in order to get into PHPmyAdmin. You're only going to have one database. I happen to have 3 because I'm an instructor. And when we installed WordPress, we installed this comments, links, options, all of these different tables. Here you can see that I have 2 instances of WordPress installed, WordPress 1 and WordPress 2, so that I can have more than one WordPress site, even though I only have one WordPress database. You can also have additional tables in here which may or may not interact with your WordPress site. Right now, what we're doing for chapters 5 is we are loading the table. So in chapter 5, you load the table. It also allows you to create the database. In class web, we don't have the ability to make databases. We have the ability to make a single database, but not through programs. So we do it through a menu system. But we can create tables. So if I want to create this table, and I've called it Chapter 5 Users, so I don't overwrite one of my other user files. And in order to use this code, I'm going to open the SQL tab. And in this SQL window, I'm going to paste creating this table. And I'm going to click Go. Now where you learn what all of these create table, auto increment, not null, all of this is within the chapters of Larry Ullman's book that you have access to free of charge. So we just created a table. So now I have this table here, Chapter 5 Users. And when I run this, it doesn't have anything because we haven't added any data. All we've done is create the table. If I want to add some data, I can insert into this table. So I'm going to insert into this data. So I'm just using this file. I'm going to go back into the SQL. Instead of being a select statement, I'm just going to paste what the textbook gave me. I'm going to click Go. It said one row was inserted. So when I go to CH5 Users, I now have one row. The first name is Larry Ullman, the first name is Larry, the second name is Ullman, his email, his password, so we're setting up some users. As the examples go on in the book, they're building onto each other. We also have another one where we can insert a particular value. So we'll do that again. We'll click on the SQL. We will overwrite that statement, and we'll click Go. So now we've inserted another row. If we look at this table, we're going to see that we have Larry's record and we have Zoe's record. If I want to insert more data, I can go and grab this next exercise from Chapter 5, and I can paste this into my SQL, I can click Go, and now 4 rows were inserted. When I look at this table, it shows me that Larry's there, Zoe's there, John, Paul, Ringo, and George. If I want to load more data, I can go back, and here we're inserting quite a few rows. So I can copy that, insert it here, click my Go, and now I've inserted 20. So when I look at this table, I'll make it a little larger, this is what our table now looks like. So you can quickly create a table, load a table, and I do this a lot when I'm creating something new and I want to make sure that the table's just right. I'll go in and I will delete the data or the table. So I'm going to scroll down. If I empty the table, I truncate it so there's no more records. If I delete the table, I drop the table. And that's pretty typical. Yes, I want to destroy this because I have all of the data that I can reload in the proper format. So that's basically what Chapters 5 is doing, is teaching you how to load data, how to create a table, how to load the data, how to update the data. It also is going to be showing you in Chapter 6, you're going to be creating additional tables and doing additional things. So that's how we start to load the data. Once you get things situated where you have all of the tables that you're going to be using, you can also do queries, if we were to do a query on this. And then if I wanted to take this SQL, because right now this is just SQL, and I wanted to put it into a PHP program, I could click that, and now I have that SQL statement in the format that I would use to put into a PHP program. So when we're looking at the files from the Larry Ullman exercises, Chapters 5 and 6, we're starting to load table and understand it. Chapter 7, we're starting to alter tables. Then in Assignment 9, we're going to be creating systems, where the first system is going to be for a message board. In Chapter 18, and you can see there's quite a bit more SQL, we're going to be creating a system for user registration. And for Chapters 19, we're going to be creating an e-commerce, simple with no security, but starting to learn how SQL and a database interact with a PHP file. So I want you to have fun with that. If it seems really complex, you know that you can always call me and we can work through this one-on-one. Until the next video, have a great time.